contact and that first reaches out and how that whole process went?
Well, Andre Powell and Dave Worley, I've known those guys for a long time. I actually worked with Dave the last 2 stops at UVA and at Maryland, so he had asked if I was interested, on Pat's behalf, I guess, and so then it kind of just went from there. You know how it cycles. You go through the process of meeting and sitting down. We talked a little bit at the convention, because at the time I was still at Maryland, kind of in limbo. So it was one of those situations you kind of see what's out there, and I was happy to fall into this one.
What made it appealing?
I know a lot of the people here. I work with Dave Andrews at Illinois. I've worked with boards on several staff. Coach Powell used to recruit my school way back in the day when I was a high school coach. So, it's a lot about relationships. Like Coach mentioned, I'd known Coach D'Antonio since I was, 16 years old, and Coach Narduzzi coming from that stock, means a lot to me. So, at the end of the day, it's about the people that run the building.
Obviously, you worked with Matt Canada too, who's here. I mean, what did those guys that you talked to, either who are here currently or have been here, tell you about the culture that Pat has tried to install here at Pitt?
They were all super positive about it. I enjoyed the last year with Matt, and he had nothing but good things to say about Coach Narduzzi. So, and then Dave Bucar and all those guys that came down with them. So it was one of those things. It was kind of easy just to slide in.
What do you know about Pitt's receiving core? What did you know coming in, and what have you learned so far?
I didn't know a whole lot. It's kind of one of those things. You're so busy on your own team, you don't really have much time to pay attention to everybody else. But as I've gotten here, you try to learn a little bit. It all goes back. You want to try to give them a blank slate as much as you can, but at the same time, you want to know who can do what to be able to put them in a position to just demonstrate that stuff during the spring. So, we're watching film, but you're trying to watch it really with an eye on where can they play, and then see who can do what in the spring. You want to give people a blank slate and let them play it out.
Did you recruit any of those guys, either receivers or really anybody else on the team?
Really, Shockey was one that we recruited a little bit when I was at the other place. There's a couple guys in this year's class that are from the Maryland area that we're recruiting as well. There, not as much. I haven't recruited as much north. As much. I've been much more in the south. From Virginia south. Even when I worked in the Midwest, I was still in Florida or Atlanta or Virginia DMV area. So I hadn't been much north. So a lot of these guys that are northern kids, I'm seeing for the first time.
So is that kind of your area of contacts, your footprint, I guess, kind of DMV South?
Yeah, I recruited DMV everywhere I've ever been. So, from Wisconsin to Illinois to everywhere. So, it's been one of my target areas. I grew up in that area, so it makes it pretty easy. I recruited Dade, Broward, Palm, in Florida, from Tampa all the way down to Fort Myers. So, we signed 4 or 5 wideouts out of Atlanta at the last stop. So, really, the South has been more where I've recruited in the past.
You have a reputation as a strong recruiter. What do you feel like are the things that you've been able to do that have allowed you to have success in that area?
Being a high school coach at one point in my career, that's kind of, you learn what to do, what not to do, because you hear what the players say when the coaches leave. So you kind of say, hey, these are the things you want to do. So honesty's kind of always tried to be my thing. It's just one of those things. If you have connections or relationships, those things help. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of relationships and have been able to build upon the relationships at the places that I hadn't necessarily recruited a bunch. So, I think all that stuff kind of builds on each other, and then the better players you put out on the field. I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of NFL guys that played for us in the past at receiver and running back and whatever, and recruited a bunch of them myself. So those things kind of help too.